Please forgive our tardiness, but we had a executive session on a negotiation issue, and it went a little bit late, so I'd like to thank everyone for their patience. This is the regular scheduled meeting of the Wareham School Committee, and at this particular point in time, I'd like to just announce that we have coffee and water, and that's not just for the school committee. Anyone can have a drink or a refreshment. At this particular time, I'll entertain anyone that would like to address the school committee under public participation. Please come forward, identify yourself. Seeing none, moving right along. Good news, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you very much. The Foundation for the Wareham Education awarded more than $7,000 in grants to the Wareham teachers last week. They funded things like microscopes, field trips, and other educational adventures. We surprised board members from the Wareham Educational Foundation, and I surprised the teachers in their classrooms on Tuesday before Thanksgiving break, and we will have our candid camera video online very soon. Next, both our elementary schools, the middle school and high school, participated in food drives for the Wareham food pantries, and food was delivered before Thanksgiving. 30 Wareham middle school students joined students from the rest of the New England states at Gillette Stadium yesterday as guests of the New England Patriots. This program was part of the NFL Fuel Up to Play. The DECA program at the high school is organizing its first ever home show, which is slated for March 21st and 22nd. If you would like to be a vendor or a participant, please contact Kim Carmen, and we will be very happy to provide her email address if you contact us, and it will also be on the website. And the Wareham High School is halfway to its goal of raising $2,500 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Finally, don't forget, Alice in Wonderland show starts this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the high school. The show starts at 7, and tickets are $12 for the general public and $8 for students and senior citizens. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Does anyone on the committee have good news at this point in time? Mr. Flaherty.
Just wanted to add that my son attended that field trip to Gillette, and he had some selfies with some Patriots cheerleaders. They all had a great time. He kicked a field goal through this virtual field goal thing. He put on Tom Brady's clothes, his shoulder pads, his cleats. It was pretty cool.
Well, good news obviously is I hope that everyone had a joyous Thanksgiving and enjoyed family and friends and plenty of turkey. It was fun to have Wareham win the rivalry game. So that was really good news, and so there's a lot to be thankful for in Wareham, and I just hope that we can continue moving forward in good fellowship as we get into the holiday season. Does anyone else have any good news? They had the comedy show, and was that well attended? It wasn't well attended. That's unfortunate, because I thought it was pretty good. Huh?
It was good.
It was good. That's what I heard.
People missed a good show.
Yeah. So I couldn't go because I had another meeting, but my wife went with her sister, and she said it was pretty good. Yes.
And as it relates to the comedy show, I thought Mr. Palladino was a very good sport. They tried to pull him into it, and he didn't succumb.
He didn't succumb. That's it. He's a good man.
But they did identify the boss.
There was some inside conversations happening.
Oh. I just wanted to let everybody know that I think this was since our last board meeting. I went to a presentation of UMass Dartmouth's strategic plan for the next 5 years. It was a breakfast presentation put on by the Chancellor, Davina Grossman. I think they're doing some good, innovative things, including in their education of teachers, and I think we can look for them to be to be a good partner with us as well as Bridgewater State.
And speaking of the strategic plan, I did speak to the superintendent, and we'll be starting our own strategic plan process at the beginning of the year. Okay, minutes of the meeting of November 19th, 2014. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Are there any additions or deletions? Or corrections? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, 400.
Nope,
Nope.
abstain.
Abstained, 301. Student request, Wareham High School, trips, all right. Broaden our horizons, I'm all for it.
Yes. We're going to actually call up Ms. Higgins and Mr. Berrialt in regards to the trip to Belize that we're hoping to have for February of 2016.
I can't think that far ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Well, actually, that has, oh, okay.
So, Mr. Berrialt, it seems like you have entirely too much fun at the high school.
Apparently I am having too much fun.
Yes.
Well, I remember when he had
You
fun,
take
on-
advantage when you can, right?
I remember when he was in my class, he had fun there too.
Is this like, no,
And not at my expense, no.
is this like number 4 font?
Yeah.
Right, a little small.
What you guys have in front of you is just a brief overview of the trip that we would like to take for Belize, February 2016. I'm going to play a video. Obviously, there's no sound, but you can see it on the Wareham On Demand, the EduVision, the Wareham High School General folders.
So this particular Belize trip, opposed to the Costa Rica trip, has a really large marine component to it. They'll be spending roughly 5 nights on a key off the coast of Belize, and it's the second largest barrier reef, so it'd be a really, really good opportunity, unique experience.
The company that we're planning on going with is IZE, International Zoological Expedition, and they've been in business since 1970. I've been with them on several trips as a college student, as an educator taking high schoolers before. So they give you a little bit of everything. The rainforest, kids get to learn a whole bunch of techniques, cultures, and crafts that deal with the rainforest. Go on bird watching expeditions, reptile hunting, cave exploring, as you can see in the video, and then move to the Southwater Key, where they spend a lot of time snorkeling mangrove reefs, visiting the Smithsonian research facility that does a lot of work with climate change, ocean acidification, and things like that that are prevalent right now.
And Boston University is also in conjunction with this Marine Reserve, and they've actually donated a lot of money and have a new facility there as well, a new lab, I should say. So a very good opportunity for the kids to experience. There's also Mayan ruins that they'll visit, which is an unbelievable experience just to see, you know, an ancient civilization like as such as the Mayans.
They also get to meet the Granifera people, which is another culture that's there in Belize. So they actually get a drumming session, a culture drumming session, and have lunch with these individuals before heading off to the key that they have. The trip is going to cost roughly around $2,500. It all is based upon the international flight to Belize during February. We're going to go, IZE has the trip for $1,589 per student. If we have more than 18, it drops by about $75 for that. We're going to go through a travel agency for the flights, and the guy has been working with IZE for the last 30 years and actually can get cheaper flights than you could on Orbit or Expedia or things like that. And then they have another company that does the travel insurance, which is about $100. So altogether, we're looking at possibly $2,500 for the trip. Definitely will be doing fundraising to help offset the cost for the students. We do have to kind of push and get kids interested because March will be the time that we'll reserve airline seats, but they'll be able to get their deposit back for saving the seat. So it's about $50 or $100 to just save your seat, and if they choose not to go, they can get that money back. If they wait until, say, next school year and decide to want to go at the last minute, it's going to be more for them because of the airfare to Belize.
Very good. And you've got some students with you?
That's for,
Well, that's for another, okay, yes.
yes.
Any questions from the committee? Yes,
Flaherty.
Mr. Flaherty.
Actually, really happy to see this. I didn't expect this. Usually when we have the the requests like these come through, they're really for traditional places and stuff. You're going to learn a lot about marine biology. I thought it was going to be like a little Survivor episode going on there from some of the footage.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that won't happen.
But
Yeah.
That looks
A
very...
lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
for
that was
the
very
kids.
interesting.
And if any of the students or anybody else who choose to go is scuba certified, there is that option that they can also scuba dive on the reef. It's an additional cost, but if anybody is scuba certified, and there are some kids that are like, oh, I want to get scuba certified to do that, that's on them, that's their additional cost. But if people are already scuba certified, they do have that option of diving the second most largest reef in the world.
Yeah, and what grades is this open to?
We're going to open it up to incoming 9th graders all the way through 12th graders. So to give that opportunity. I mean, I'm sure if a parent with someone who is younger than incoming 9th graders was choosing to go and bringing their child, then I don't see why that would be a problem. But we're going to try to open it up to, the 8th graders going into the 9th grade for it.
$2,500 a person?
About
Right.
25, yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Mr. Sweat?
Great trip. I'm a scuba diver, and I encourage people to do it. It's the only way to see that part of the world. But even if you're a snorkeler, just encourage kids to make sure they've got decent equipment that fits them. It will
Right.
make their experience a whole lot more enjoyable.
Well,
Right.
those would
They
be some things.
provide.
I'm a master diver myself, so that would definitely be things that we would talk with the kids, getting gear that they're comfortable in, because nobody likes a leaky mask. And especially if they've never snorkeled before, and then you're seeing fish and, maybe a nurse shark or something like
Right.
that. If you're scared about your equipment, then you're not going to enjoy the water.
And the particular key that we'll be staying on is really nice sandy beaches that kind of go out gradually, and it's protected by the barrier, so it's very calm waters. So it would be the perfect environment for kids that have no experience to get in the water and enjoy the experience. So
Great.
Very good. Mrs. Vugan?
Every year I get excited about how you guys keep expanding and greater trips and greater experiences for our kids. So kudos to everyone involved in picking some of the locations that you're doing. What is the chaperone to student ratio that you'll be looking for? Is there a requirement with this group?
They like to do 1 for every 10. I
Okay.
mean, we personally, depending on how many students end up going, right now the Costa Rica trip
Right.
has,
it's about a dozen. So based on the cost, I mean, we know it probably won't be a large number of students, but given the opportunity with the two of us, then we would take on additional chaperones
Right.
if we got more student
Okay,
involvement.
and I think that leads to the next question, which is around fundraising opportunities. How many are you planning to help students fund this trip?
It's something probably step by step we would take, but definitely opportunities like car washes and fundraising with candy and so forth to give them opportunities to take advantage individually to fundraise and raise money.
Because I think a trip like this with a student who might see this as a daunting task to raise this much money to be able to go, but being able to walk them through step by step on how it could actually be achievable is a life-changing experience for some of the kids in our school system. And so
Right.
anything that can be done to encourage all students that they can do it would be great.
Greatly
and that's what we're
beneficial.
trying to do by starting it early, getting kids, you put a bit away at a time, and then also with the fundraising too. I mean, there's some kids are like, I'm going to get a job just so I can go, so, by us drumming it up and getting them going early, then we can definitely fundraise earlier and more often between now and February
Right,
of
because
2016.
it turns it upside down. Just,
Right.
when I was young, I went on a trip when I
What
was
do you mean
13.
when? You're still young.
But went overseas. I thought, and this was, I was in junior high, and I thought that junior high, that was it. That was my whole entire world. And even the smallest little problem became huge. And the second that I went on a trip to Thailand, it turned everything around, and it didn't seem so daunting anymore. So, you know, I know that everyone who travels a lot probably knows that story, but a child who's never had that opportunity, it will all of a sudden make their big problems seem small, and that's an opportunity that we should provide every single day to our kids. Is it's not
Right.
what you're dealing with right now is not that big in the whole scheme of
in
things.
terms of getting students. I mean, on the surface, all the kids want to do this. It's very exciting, but financially, it is a difficult thing to get someone on board and then provide the opportunities, not knowing exactly how much they'll fundraise and how much money they'll make.
That's why
So
breaking
is
it down in
it's
small little
something that
chunks.
families tangle with and, you know, we're well aware of. But yeah, those are
Okay.
great suggestions.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right, thank you.
Very good. I just have a couple of comments, and in one of them you answered, you're gonna start, you will establish for these kids to know, like an installment plan, like a certain specific installment dates where they'll know
Right.
how
So
much
it's
they have to
not
come up
so
with and
on-
when.
Yeah, so it's not so
Exactly.
That's
daunting,
important,
you know,
right.
I mean,
Right.
the first one would probably definitely be, you know, to secure the seat. So at least $100 to secure the seat, and we
Right.
might even with IZE, they might want at least a $150 deposit. So right off the bat, we're gonna say, we're looking for $250
Right.
to secure your spot, secure your seat, the
Right.
seats,
Right,
you
and
know,
then move on from
If you
there.
and
take
then
it in
move on
small
from
chunks,
there
it
and
doesn't
try to
seem
do
so
them at small
daunting.
chunks
Of
for
course,
'em.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I'll second the motion on what Mr. Sweat said about equipment, especially snorkeling equipment, because you're looking at the guy, my mask leaks all the time because of these laugh lines. The
Well, if
water
you're- if
goes
you're
right up my laugh
smiling, you're gonna
lines,
leak.
and
It's gonna
I'm drowning before I realize what's happening to me.
Right.
Anyways, good luck. You've got my blessings, and I think the blessings of the school committee, and what, we still have to vote on it, but I don't hear any opposition. So it's, anytime our kids can get experiences like this, it's absolutely worthwhile. So thank you
Yes.
very much for your interest and your excitement in the project. I'll entertain a motion to approve this trip.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to approve the Belize trip for February 2016. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 400. Thank you,
Thank you for
guys.
your time.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is vote to approve the adjustments to the... No? Oh, we got another truck. Senior class, I'm sorry. I was gonna let my buddy get away from me.
I will turn it over to Ms. Gomes Vieira, the junior class advisor, and Ms. Rakowski, the trip advisor, as well as officers from the junior class and members of the junior class as well.
Welcome.
How about this?
Hello,
Hi.
Good evening.
my name is Carolyn Gomes Vieira. I am the advisor for the class of 2016, and these are mostly my officers. We are here to have our senior privileges approved for next year, which are the same as what they were this year, as well as our senior class trip. Ms. Rakowski has all the details, so.
Good evening, school committee and
evening.
superintendent.
Good evening, Marge.
The senior class of 2016 wants to go on a cruise. So Margie, who has done Disney and Universal, said, let me look into this. And so I found a travel agent down in Florida, Adventure Travel, that does senior class trips. And it consists of, the cost is going to be approximately $950. That includes the airfare, the cruise, all entertainment, food, the onboard gratuities, and the fees. And there will be no school missed, because we're going to go April school vacation. We'll leave on that Sunday, we'll come back that Thursday. Seniors, doesn't matter if they're 18 or not. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're in international waters or not. They cannot buy alcohol. There's no money involved here. You have to set up a fund out of on your room, and it's gonna be on your room key, and your birth date is on that. And when you have to scan your key for everything. And once it's scanned, it's gonna come up and say WHS 2016. So I don't care if you're 105, you're not getting a drink. if you say it's WHS on it. And so I said, that's good for me, you know? Everybody will have an opportunity to go. We have, like I said, we've done Disney before, we've done Universal. We have had children that have raised enough money with all the fundraising. We've got Yankee Candle, bake sales, resales, dinner at Red Robin, yard sales, movie booklets, Mr. Wareham, the flamingo flocking, and the comedy show. Every child has more than enough opportunity to go and earn extra money to go. They've already raised over around $3,000 to go towards this trip. It's going to be the April 17th to the 21st, 2016. We'll fly from TF Green.
2016?
Yes.
Oh, this is for next year?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Junior
Because
class.
I wanted to
Junior
make,
class,
I wanted to make sure there was enough time.
All right,
For the-
because I got confused, because the senior privileges is senior class now.
No,
They're senior privileges for next year.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
but it's the same.
I guess so.
Listen,
It's connected.
Go ahead. I'm sorry I
because we
interrupted.
don't, I'm a nervous wreck.
Don't be nervous. You're among friends.
But they have to have very good attendance. They have to have a certain grade average, which is why the senior privileges come into effect on this, because they have to have the senior privileges, have no debts, no suspensions, absences. You have to be, basically, you don't take any bad kids, you know, and I feel we're gonna be fine. The only thing that they're gonna need money for is if they wanna buy souvenirs, shore excursions, which we're gonna have them pick two. We're going to Freeport and Nassau, and we're gonna have them pick 2 or 3 excursions at each place. So the chaperones, which is 10 to 1, the chaperones will be able to know who's going where and be with that group. They can buy an unlimited soft drink fountain card for $35. They get drinks for the 5 days. I don't know, what else, the chaperones will be Miss Gomes-Riera, Dean, Miss Deneen, myself, my husband, Carl Baptiste is a school resource officer, and Mr. Scott Palladino, the principal.
Oh, now you're in.
Really?
Because it's during the school, it's during vacation. And
How many days?
5 days, 4 nights. Anybody have any questions that they want to ask me before I have a nervous breakdown?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Who'd like to start the questioning? Mrs. Fugan.
How many, what percentage, or how many students are going on this year's senior class trip?
They're going to Hershey Park. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was
Still
gonna say,
established? Okay.
Last year, I know it was 50 students who went on the
Okay.
last year's one.
yeah, basically it's between 50 and 60, 65 students that go on the senior class trips.
Okay.
And-
So I'm sure that the costs are down because it's Hershey Park and with transportation. Where does this fall on the expense level for a senior class trip? Is it on the higher end?
This, honestly, the last year's was $850, and that was the Universal for 3 days, I believe. And this is, it's not etched in stone for the $950.
Okay.
But you have to think of airfare, and that's what the travel agent said, Margie, go on the higher end, because that's why I wrote on there approximately. It's not etched in stone, because it could go from $850 to $950, but you don't know what the airfare is gonna be at that time. We're gonna fly Southwest.
And
And
I
again, for me, it has a lot to do with just opportunity and making sure that whatever's chosen, that the students have an opportunity to go on it. And so the reason why I'm asking about costs is that do you up the number of fundraisers based on the cost to make sure that the full cost can be fundraised?
Oh,
to
yeah,
be able
that's
to
why
have
we're
students
starting
go?
now.
Okay.
We currently have a student who has been taking advantage of every fundraiser. She currently owes me $550 for her class trip. And our prom, depending on where we go, is almost paid for. So every fundraiser we do from here on out is pretty much fundraising for this trip. We have a March 21st fundraiser that's just for the class trip, and we have a couple other things that we're going to do.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Flaherty?
Actually, a question for the superintendent. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but all the chaperones would have to be quarried, right?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
And fingerprinted?
and fingerprinted.
And fingerprinted, boy.
Yes.
No, I'd feel really, really good if Mr. Palladino was on this trip.
Oh, he's a chaperone.
But he said if needed, if needed.
I think his daughter wants to go, too. Yeah.
Emily, do you want to go, honey? Huh? Okay, I got her vote. Dad's going.
Is this 2 to a room, 2 to a cabin?
4.
4 to a cabin? Wow. Do these guys know how small those cabins are?
Hey, we've survived them.
Yeah.
You know my crazy fan, Cliff.
Jeff?
Any other questions? Mr. Sweat?
This is probably best directed at Mr. Palladino. And I admit I'm putting my coach's hat on. The South Coast Conference still insists on scheduling varsity matches during vacation weeks. Is there anything that could be done about that so that people can go on these trips and not create havoc for their teams?
Sure.
We'll be going Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
About money.
In the past, and I believe it may just be tennis at this point that is scheduling during that vacation
Oh,
because,
it's not
You're
a big
kidding.
deal.
It's only tennis?
let me put it this way, when I was coaching track many years ago, we never had any matches just because of the issues like this. So yes, there's flexibility in the schedule, and by being here tonight, the spring schedule for 2016 hasn't been established. It usually gets established in the middle of your spring season. So if it's approved tonight, I'll send an email to Ed and make sure that we don't have any matches during that time frame.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Don't leave yet. I've got a question for you. Any other questions, Mr. Sweat? Marge, you know I love you, but of all the senior trips, this is the one that I probably feel the least comfortable with. Mr. Palladino, you feel okay with this? You don't feel that this could be a problem because they're gonna fill that ship?
Right.
And if it's gonna be all seniors from all over the place, that's the part that I'm not feeling all that comfortable with.
I know it's
We
not.
can control our own kids.
Correct. I know it's not Disney, but I'm going to tell you one thing. When I did have the opportunity, Margie, you can probably tell me the year, it was probably 2000, and I went to Disney with the seniors. I believe I was maybe an assistant principal, whatever it was. I never felt safer in my entire life than being with, I don't know how many, 40,000, 50,000 seniors. It was unbelievable. The companies that do this, that promote it, the security is unbelievable. So I am confident
Well,
in
they
the
can't go anywhere, they're on a ship.
Correct, but you know, there's other
Well, that's not quite
considerations
true.
you
They
have
can
to have
fall
as well.
Fall overboard, right.
Right, but I'm going to tell you that the security that they put forth on these programs is top notch. It's unbelievable, and I'm very confident in the program. But I'm even more confident in the two folks that are sitting here. And I think Ms. Rakowski has an excellent track record with.
She sure does.
With I don't know what 4 trips now for the seniors, Ms. Rakowski.
Yeah, this will be the 5th. Yeah.
This will be the 5th. So I think we've got a really good track record, and I wouldn't be here supporting this if I didn't believe it.
I've seen Mrs. Rakowski in action. I wouldn't want to mess with her. Okay, any
Mr.
other
Chair.
questions? Mr. Sweat?
The travel agency also sends 2 representatives on the cruise with us to make sure, that we know where everything is, and, if anything goes wrong, if I have a question or anything, I have somebody I don't have to worry about. I did ask that, because, like I said, this is a big overtaking, and I feel comfy right now.
Okay. Mr. Sweat?
More than half serious when I'm asking this question. There's a little bit of humor, but do you think it would be a good idea to require people to pass a swimming test before they go?
No. No, I don't think so, honestly, because the kids that can't swim aren't going to go on the excursions where you're going to go swim with the dolphins.
I was thinking of falling overboard.
Oh, what? Would you
Exactly.
put it this way?
All of a ship.
August 2012, I took 12 family members on the Disney cruise. At that time there, my 2 youngest ones were 5. The youngest of the 5 I swear to God, I swore he was gonna go overboard before it was done. I thought I was gonna die on that cruise ship on Disney. But they got plexiglass around the railings, so nobody can climb up there. And like I said, we're not taking fools on this trip. You know? No, I understand what you're saying. I
I
understand.
am not suggesting anybody is
Yeah.
a fool.
Yeah, no,
You
no,
have
I'm
great
just
kids
saying.
behind you, and I know that.
Yeah,
But I've known great kids who couldn't swim.
yeah. Oh, no, honestly, I don't think, she can't swim.
I didn't say it was. Chaperones would have to take the test too.
Oh, I'm starting my swimming lessons as soon as this is approved.
She's
other
gonna go to the
questions?
Y and learn how to swim.
Yeah, I'm just confused on how swimming would help you when you fall off a large ship. Maybe that's the last thing that will
Any other
save
que-
you from that.
I
Any
hope
other
Flipper's out there.
questions pertinent to the trip? Yes, Nicole.
You might have mentioned this before, but is there a limit to how many kids can go based on space or?
Nope,
Okay.
we
Just
just have
on how
to.
many fun chaperones we can find, and I already have people lining up at my door.
There you go.
Maybe 5 to a room or 6 to a room, but, you know.
No,
I'll entertain a motion, folks,
So moved.
to approve the trip.
So moved.
This would be the senior trip for 2016
Second.
on a Carnival cruise. There's a second, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 400.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do we have to prove senior privileges?
Oh, senior privileges.
Mr. Palladino?
Yeah.
You still have more?
Just the senior privileges is the same senior privileges of this year.
Yeah, we got to
They
vote on
must
those.
have 95. Do you have that up there?
I'll
already?
entertain a motion on senior privileges for 2016. No?
You don't get to ask some
Of
questions?
course you do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought, because it's going to be the same, I didn't think there would be any. Go ahead.
Well, you want a motion? We can do it
No, no,
after the
no.
motion.
Go ahead. Ask a question.
Mr. Palladino? Yes. How are you feeling about the current senior privileges? Would you recommend any modifications one way or the other?
I think it's going really well. We have high standards. Students are responding well. Most of the students stay in the school. Very few exercise the right to leave the school, especially during these colder months. And it really holds the students accountable and forces them to stay focused. There used to be, when I was in school, a thing called the senior slide. And we've kind of avoided that senior slide because they have to maintain a certain GPA, certain average. And it's really, I think it's a great program. Moreover, it allows us for some flexibility in the schedule as well. When we're cutting teachers, it allows for a little more flexibility than we would have otherwise.
I could be wrong, but I seem to remember there is some discretion on the part of the principal when it comes to these privileges. Have you exercised that discretion in the past year?
To be honest, I haven't. To me, the line's here in the stands, and unless someone has a real appealing case to why they may need to have an appeal, I would certainly entertain it, but I haven't had to.
But you haven't had to.
So, but I have in the past.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve senior privileges for 2016, class of 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
400.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice job.
Mr. Palladino, I just have a question for you. Sure. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I just noticed that Mr. Lazarus isn't here tonight, and I know I would have brought this up under committee reports, but and I meant to ask this last meeting, but you guys met regarding the extracurricular.
That's
It's going to be on the agenda for the next
week.
meeting.
Okay.
Next meeting.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Let's get the status on that.
Okay, we have now, next, we have to approve the adjustment to the superintendent's contract. We met in executive session on this last week, but this has to be approved at this point in time. Does anyone have any further discussion or comments to make at this particular time based on these adjustments? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to implement this amendment to her contract relative to vacation days and the term.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 400. Next, we have the superintendent's goals in our packet. We've discussed the goals. The goals have been approved. However, as you know, the goals portion of the evaluation instrument, I think it's 60 points. Is that correct, Mr. Sweat?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a little worksheet for you.
Okay, so it's 60 points, and it's only fair that the superintendent know if we are going to weight the goals equally, or if we're going to put more emphasis on one of the goals as opposed to the other. Certainly, I'll listen to anyone's recommendation. I have a thought or two on my own, but I'll wait until the end. What's your pleasure, folks? There's 4 goals, so if you weighted them equally, that would be, unless my math is all messed up, 15 points apiece, correct? So, Mr. Sweat.
First, I want to see if it is possible in this context for us to change, thank you, for us to change the 60 at the same time that we're waiting.
I think that would be inappropriate, given the fact that she has a contract with us, and that would be further negotiations. I don't think that would be appropriate at this time. We have an instrument,
You're right,
okay?
you're right.
And the instrument clearly says 60.
It could be contingent upon approval by the superintendent.
Yeah, but I think that would really, there'd be no reason to change her contract at this particular time. That would be my perception of it. We changed this language in her contract based on, basically was faulty language. I don't see any faulty language in terms of the evaluation instrument.
I'm not suggesting it's faulty, I'm just suggesting, in my mind, and if I'm the only one who feels that way, that's fine. In my mind, 60% based on these 4 goals is inappropriately diminishing the huge other parts of her responsibilities.
No, I understand, but at this particular point in time, I certainly would not favor changing the format of the evaluation instrument. Mr. Flaherty?
To Dr. Sylvia, are you saying that somewhere in the contract it says that, it's 60% is given toward the goals?
No, the part of her contract is this evaluation instrument.
Right. I'm just saying, I think we can change that 60 to whatever we want to for next year, but just to reserve the right to do that, but I don't think we should. I probably would not support that, but I think we can if we wanted to.
Oh, yeah, we can do anything we want. I just don't think it would be appropriate. Any other comments? Mrs. Vugan?
I want to understand where that's coming from. Like, what would your suggestion be?
I think she's asking me through you.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Sweat.
That's okay.
So, I mean, I just want to know
invisible.
Never.
we're basically, we're stating, you made a statement that, can we change it? And we're debating on whether we can, or should we, but the argument on why to change it.
I think these goals are important. I think these goals have the potential to impact student achievement, certainly. But actual student achievement is obviously what we're all about. And that is part of our overall responsibilities every year. It's not a unique responsibility to a given year, it's an overall responsibility. And in theory, and only hypothetically, if it was a terrible student achievement year, this is still 60%, no matter how bad the student achievement was. Or vice versa. If it was an extraordinary student achievement year, this is 60%, no matter how good. And I just think it's inappropriately weighted in general, given the fact that the mandate for the committee, and by extension the superintendent, sorry, Christian, is student achievement.
Okay.
So Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
So what I found interesting is when we implemented the new evaluation tool, and used that this year, I found a disconnect between that and then when we tried to transfer it over here, especially this year, seeing that there weren't goals tied to it. And so when I agree with Mr. Sweat that
Wait a minute, could you?
no, I can't believe I just said that. I agree with one piece.
One piece of it, go ahead.
That if we were a company and we're evaluating, and I was an investor and I was evaluating the company, at the end of the day, it was how much money they made. Here, along with other things, of course, but when we take a look at what is the number one thing that we evaluate the school system on and its CEO is student achievement. We need to educate our students to the best of our ability. And right now, when you take a look at this evaluation instrument and the goals that we have in front of us, there was a goal on there around student achievement. But what we said was that it was redundant because that is part of the evaluation tool. And now we are basically saying, yes, it's redundant, that's part of the evaluation tool, but that evaluation tool that we all adopted has lesser weight than this.
You're
So-
doing a great job making my point, thank you.
Well, it's my own point,
Oh.
that just, but no, so, again, if, I don't think that I would agree with changing this evaluation tool if student achievement stayed on the goal sheet, but because we took it off, I think that we should consider changing the weight of the goal on this evaluation form.
Can I add one more piece of information, Mr. Chair?
Mm-hmm.
It's also true that a part of the state mandated template is impact on student outcomes, but that is not effective yet. So when that is effective, it will be that much more critical, and the state is saying it's critical because they're literally isolating one whole section of the evaluation for student outcomes. So I do think at some point, even if it isn't tonight, we have to take a hard look at how student achievement, student outcomes play a role in evaluating our superintendent.
My point is that we've approved these goals, we've made our statements. If we're adamant that a student achievement goal should have been part of this, then we should have said it, and we should have mandated it. I really don't like, changing boats halfway through the fishing trip. And I just think that, in fairness to the superintendent, we negotiated her contract. We have put in an evaluation instrument. We have weighted the instrument. Those weights were clearly defined, clearly understood, to my knowledge, by the superintendent and the committee, and it was a 60-40. Now, I'm not saying that a 60-40 is a good thing, but I'm just saying that at this point in time, today, 60-40 is what we got. And we ought to live with it until we have to renegotiate, or until we feel that at some point in time, impact bargain with the superintendent. But I certainly don't think doing it tonight in open session, making a decision is appropriate.
There's a compromise, with your permission.
Yeah.
We could agree, for example, that the four goals are equal, and that they represent 25% of whatever number is agreed to in a negotiation with the superintendent. If the superintendent says, no, I agreed to 60 points, and that's the way I want it to stay, then it would become 15, 15, 15, and 15, or whatever percentage we agreed to. So we could weight it based on percentage of whatever number is agreed to, and we would have still accomplished.
But we've already agreed to a number, Jeff.
No, we haven't agreed to the weighting.
No, we haven't agreed to the weighting, but we've agreed to the fact that the objectives and the goals are going to be 60 points. We've agreed to that.
Okay.
Mr. Flaherty.
I would say we agreed to it for this past cycle. I would say that, I think to borrow your words, that this doesn't exist in the contract. I think that's what you said when we discussed this the first time around.
It does now. It didn't then.
Does this exist? This is like,
This is our evaluation instrument.
This right here?
this?
Yeah, that's part of our instrument.
But is it part of the contract?
It's an attachment, it's basically an appendix to the contract.
Now,
So
all
it-
right, so now it isn't, all right, gotcha.
Well, no, when we first.
It always was.
It always was. So when we first, I'm sorry, through you, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
When we first negotiated the contract, it basically talks about the evaluation system, and then it says, see appendix, and then it basically has this document. Okay, so this document is part of the superintendent's
Okay.
contract.
All right,
When that came up, this wasn't part of the original process. Now it is.
now it is, okay, gotcha. All right, well, then they're probably right then. If it's part of the contract, it's part of the contract.
Mrs. Vugan.
So I agree that when we went through the goals and objectives, that we went through them and we discussed them, but at least I don't remember at any point during that discussion that we talked about or had a discussion about, okay, now that we have done this process, does this document make sense? The 60-40. What I'm trying, the reason why I'm continuing to discuss this piece of it is that I want the evaluation this year to really mean something. I think that one of the statements that we made during the last evaluation process was that because we didn't have agreed upon goals, that yes, we went through this evaluation process, but the translation, that it was a little bit clunky and it wasn't as perfect as it needs to be. I think that if we don't at least try to have a discussion with the superintendent and whether that she would be, I know she's sitting right here, but be open to changing the weighting, or we do that offline, it all goes into the spirit of trying to make the next evaluation process as solid as possible. And the argument regarding that if we felt strongly then student achievement should have been on here, there was a valid argument that was made at the school committee meeting about redundancy, and that's the reason why I didn't fight as hard as I probably would have to keep student achievement on this document. But I think that if I would have gone back to this and saw that now there's a weighting system, then I probably would have made a stronger argument. But there was a valid reason at that meeting, the reason why to take student achievement and the budget goal off of there because of redundancy.
We have a committee, and me as a chair have brought this up, I want to say, for 3 meetings, that we have to weight the goals.
Weight these goals, yes. I don't think we ever
And
talked
we had
about
to
the
weight the goals, and I
60-40.
know that I've used the word 60 several times. So in the 11th hour, to be having this discussion now, to me, is almost ridiculous.
No, I do recall when we discussed that, we had this whole discussion about this earlier on in her evaluation process this year, and it was brought up by you a number of times that, yeah, you know, I guess you guys went through some real pain to come to that 60% when you originally did it, and do you want to revisit it? And there was.
Well, not everybody weighted them equally. That was the problem. And we had a school committee vote that we would come to consensus on how we wanted the goals to be weighted, so the superintendent would know if they were weighted equally or if one was weighted more heavily than the other, which is only fair.
I think if this is part of the contract, then I don't, like you clarified a moment ago, then I don't think we can change it.
You can always I mean, just like we just did, we voted a couple moments ago to make the change in the contract.
Only because it was erroneous language. And that's
like
far
word-
beyond
yeah,
this.
wordsmithing
You can't
and
compare
stuff.
the two.
Again, all I'm doing is trying to make sure that this evaluation
Well,
process,
you know, I just
makes sense.
I just don't like end runs, and I sense an end run here.
Excuse me?
I sense an end run. The clarification of this amendment that we just approved was because of, was clarification of the language. It has, no bearing on changing the impact of the evaluation instrument. Those are two different reasons for considering the contract. Mr. Sweat.
I didn't raise my hand.
Oh. Whatever you folks want to do, but we need a vote, and we need to let the superintendent know what we're doing. It's only fair to her. So I need a motion, and I can't make one. So somebody make a motion, it'll get approved or not approved.
Motion for discussion purposes
Go ahead.
to revisit the weight of the 60% for the goals.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to revisit the 60% on the goals. Any other discussion, even though we've had quite a bit? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm opposed.
Nay.
All right, so the motion fails. Does anyone have another motion?
I'd be happy to have a discussion offline, not tonight.
Well, that motion's, that's moot now. That motion failed. I would like to step down as chair so that I can make a motion. Would you mind taking over the chairmanship?
Sure, yeah. Don't need to vote for that, right?
No.
Is this on the agenda?
No, it's about this.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
I would move that we weight the goals equally at 15 points each. And we can always revisit it at any time. But for now, I think it's important for the superintendent to know that this is the official document that we're working with, and that the goals should be weighted equally at 15 each.
Is there a second? Hearing no second. Motion fails.
Okay, somebody else figure it out.
Do you want to be chair again?
Sure. I tried. What's your pleasure, folks? Do you want to postpone it again
Mr. Chair.
till we can get a full complement?
I would propose 33% for goals 1, not of the 60, but of the weighting. Of goals 1 and 3, each would be 33% of the 60 in this case.
Okay, wait a minute now. Let me just write this down, Jeff, all right?
Sure.
Okay, you want goals number 1 and 3?
1 and 3 would be 33%,
33% of the 60,
yes.
okay?
And goals 2 and 4 would be 16 and change percent.
16% of
if-
the 60.
Yes, which if we use 60 would be 20 and 20 for the first 2 and 10 and 10 for the second 2. Does that make sense?
Well, that's what I had. That was one of my options. 20, 20, 10, and 10.
But I heard you say 15.
Yeah,
for
that's
all of them.
well, that's what I said, but I had option 2.
Ah, I didn't hear option 2.
Well, I didn't give you option 2.
So you don't get credit for it, I get.
Oh, you get credit for it.
Jeff has the floor.
But I didn't weight them, but the numbers weren't the same. I weighted 3,
Oh.
3 and 2. But all right, are you making that in form of a motion?
Yes, I am.
All right, here is the motion. The motion is that goal number 1 and goal number 3, goal number 1 and goal number 3, goal number 1 is building capacity, and goal number 3 is increasing leadership capacity for all educators, be rated at 33% of the 60 total. And that goals 2 and 4, and goal 2 is shift instructional transfer the allocation of resources, and 4 is district improvement and communication to be considered as 16%.
16 plus, yes.
16 of the 60. Now, what I don't understand, so that's the motion. Is there a second?
Whose motion is that?
That's just
Mine.
motion.
Oh, just motion.
Is there a second?
Well,
I will if you take over again, I will
But
second
I
it.
don't think you can do it mid-motion.
Well,
No,
you can't, really.
It's true. Totally unkosher.
All right,
Hold on,
so,
hold on. Second.
all right, I got a second.
For discussion, please.
And I got a question. Let's just assume now, for a second, that I'm evaluating goal 2 and 4. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Are they 8% apiece?
No, 16+%. Think
For
of,
the two of them?
no.
Oh,
Think,
apiece?
think of them as 10 points
Gotcha,
each.
gotcha. All right. Got it. So 2 and 4 would be 16% of the 60, and 1 and 3 would be,
Yes.
so 1 would be 33, 3 would be 33, 2 would be 16, and
4 would be
of the
16%
60.
of the
Gotcha.
60.
Okay, discussion. Mrs. Vugan.
My weights had, this is where, my weights had 1 and 2 at a higher percentage and 3 and 4 at a smaller percentage. I know. So we're gonna need to come to some negotiation.
I knew this
So-
was gonna be a pain. I knew it was gonna be a pain. I did.
But I think that it's a discussion of if we prioritize the goals. Okay, so basically, don't try to put a percentage on it right now, but basically saying of these 4 goals, what is your 1, 2, 3, and 4? For each one of us, I think that helps us get to a
We
rating.
can do that. You want my, can we have somebody to take notes? The mathematician
take
among
notes.
us?
We have a motion on the
Yeah,
floor.
it's a
Oh, that's right, we
Is this
can't do
part
that
of the
yet.
Discussion on the motion, or,
If you withdraw your second, withdraw your
okay. that's
motion,
all
we
right.
can
I
have
mean,
this
if it is.
discussion.
I do
Oh, we
not-
gotta vote on it.
I do not withdraw my second.
All right.
Good,
All right.
because I wasn't withdrawing my motion.
So we have to vote on this motion.
You'll love this.
Any other discussion on this motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Abstain.
All right.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Mrs.
No, there's
Vugan,
no abstention in that. It's a yes or
I'm
no.
abstaining.
Mrs. Vugan, how do you rate them?
You mean down the line or
Yeah, right.
percentage wise?
Give me, your first would be number what?
My first would be number 2. My second would be number 1. My third would be number 3, and my fourth would be number 4.
How about you, Mr. Flaherty?
What do you mean, what about me?
How do you rank them?
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Of the 4, what do you think is the most
I
important?
was gonna go with all even across the board, so that's,
Okay.
All right. So all even,
yeah, 15 across the board, right?
okay. Oh, okay, I did 3, 2, 1, 4. And Jeff, how about you? You
Three-
did 1,
No, I'm telling you what I'm doing.
1, 3, 2, 4.
No, because you're now asking me to differ.
All right, okay, yeah.
You're now asking me to differentiate between 2 things that I
Gotcha.
said were tied.
Right, gotcha. Go
So-
ahead.
So I will go 3, 1, 2, 4.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I have a motion.
You have a motion.
I do.
Go ahead.
The motion is to weight goals 1, 2, and 3 equally. Well, not equally, 1, 2, 3 equally, and then 4 has a lower percentage. I have to come up with the numbers though,
What
right?
would that be, though? How would the numbers play out on that, Jeff?
Specifically.
So it's 15, 15, 15.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
no, because that's 40, that's
Okay.
45. And the other one would be 15, too. So when you do that, they're all going to be 15s.
Well, you could start off with that and take.
Or you could go, you could go, I don't know.
18,
Start off with them all as 15, add 1 to each of the 3, and then keep subtracting from the
From that.
fourth. To
18, 18, 18, 6, no, 7.
This has been our brightest moment so far as a school committee.
I see why it took so long the last time now.
Yeah, it's 18 times 3 is 54. So 18.
Thank you,
It's
student
not?
rep.
That is correct mathematically, but that leaves you 6, which is too small.
Yeah, it's way too small.
17, let's start adding now. So 17, 17, 17.
It's not
Get
gonna,
you
It's not
to,
gonna work like, well,
it's, that's approximately correct, but it's fractional.
Yeah, it is fractional.
It's fractional.
That doesn't work.
The math is simply, it is what it is. And it's your problem because you made the motion.
I make a motion to have a decimal point at the last one. All right, so one has to just be down one lower percentage. So 2 equal. Then that goes back to the problem.
No, that solves the math problem. As
Yeah.
soon as you make 2 equal, then you can make it work.
you can have
Right.
16, 16, 16, and 12.
Well, yeah, but then you're weighting 4 relatively heavily.
Well, you wanted them equal.
No, I didn't.
I'm trying
Right.
to help.
Right.
Why?
I make a motion for 16, 16, 16, 12.
Second for discussion.
You better not abstain again.
Any discussion? So the motion will be, correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Dugan, that goal number, well, it doesn't matter, goals 1, 2, and 3 would be rated at 16 points each, and goal number 4 would be rated at 12 points each, 12 points.
Yes.
Okay, and I have a second. Discussion, Mr. Sweat.
I didn't raise my hand.
Well, I'm just asking you.
No,
No discussion.
no discussion.
Mr. Flaherty.
No, not at all.
Okay, Mrs. Dugan.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. No, you win.
No.
Oh,
No.
he said no. Oh, shoot.
Okay. 2,
Well, that
210,
211.
211. Okay, I don't feel comfortable with this, but,
The superintendent definitely doesn't feel comfortable with this.
Oh, no.
Mr.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Chair, I've volunteered to meet with our esteemed superintendent to see if we can work out something that she finds acceptable and bring it back to the committee for our consideration.
that can always be done.
Yes, it can, but I'd like the committee's endorsement to do so.
I'm still feeling uncomfortable with it, but, I won't keep it off the agenda.
No, I'm asking tonight for the committee to endorse that idea, to empower me to do so.
That's up to the committee.
Exactly.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
To do what?
To meet with the superintendent, to see if we can come up with something that meets both her needs as well as potentially the committee's needs, because my own feeling is, in quite seriously, I think we should and would be influenced by what she felt was appropriate for the weighting and for her evaluation. Doesn't bind us to do anything. We can reject it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I feel like a conversation, an offline conversation, would be a good idea to then come back to a full committee. My only question is, would the chair rather have that conversation with the superintendent than a member of the school committee?
That's fine with me, too.
Yes.
I think that's appropriate.
I would, but I have a preconceived notion, and so therefore I have a bias.
But this is
My
what-
my bias is don't change the contract midstream. So I would probably be not a good person to send. And with all due respect to Jeff, he's really good at math, and he can do this.
Well, we'd also have Mel hopefully with us when we reconsider this.
The other point is that he,
But-
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
But this is in force until it gets changed.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, 16, 16, 16, 12, which I'm really not feeling totally comfortable with, but it is what it is.
What are your reservations?
I just said it, I don't like changing a contract midstream.
Well, no, we would vote on, this is on the agenda to vote on tonight.
Yes.
So that's not changing anything except for the internal weights of the 60%.
No, they're talking about changing the 60%.
Oh, no, right, so, but you're okay with what was just voted on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, I'm not feeling comfortable with what was voted on, but I'm
So-
okay with it.
So what were your, so that was my question, what was your reservations about what was just voted on?
We didn't have a consensus, that's my,
Oh, okay.
that's, I wish it would have been
Gotcha.
more of a consensus.
Gotcha.
That's what I
Right.
feel uncomfortable
Don't
about.
feel so bad.
Well, I
It's
do.
all right. It's okay, really.
All right. Okay, next order of business, superintendent's report.
Acceptance of gifts. I would like to recommend the following motion, 10, that the committee accept 10 holiday baskets to the Wareham Middle School families from employees of Chatham Village Foods.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Any further discussion on the gifts?
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Yeah, thanks.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay.
next.
Next. This week, I received a letter from DESI regarding the 2014 determination of needs for special education technical assistance or intervention. I've met with Dr. Marks. We're now gathering information to assess if the letter from the Department of Education would reflect disproportionate levels of special education identification needs for two groups. We received another letter concerning our CPR, which will be occurring in May, and this is from the Office of Civil Rights. We will have a visitation from the Office of Career and Vocational Technical Education, and they will be on site also to review the component. Dr. Marks, again, will be the point person. So what I will be doing is asking Dr. Marks to come to the committee to share the information of the data prior to turning it over to the Department of Ed.
Okay.
And I have copies of the letters if anyone would care to have them. At the next meeting...
Excuse me,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Is this all routine state stuff? Is there anything uniquely applicable to Wareham in terms of compliance or anything else?
The first one, this was our third year of being in needs improvement at the middle school, so they are looking at us a little bit more closely than normal.
And do you have confidence that what they're going to see, they're going to be happy with?
We're in the initial process of just gathering the information, and that's why I would like to have a little bit of time prior to presenting this to the committee.
Okay.
At the next meeting, I will be inviting Dr. Schwab to present an overview of the curriculum work that has been done so far in district, and also the professional development for the rest of the school year, and projected professional development into next year. Our budget subcommittee meets tomorrow as we begin reviewing the submitted budgets, and we have the budget workshop, which will be scheduled for December 18th. This will begin at 8 o'clock, and the location will be announced. And that completes my report tonight.
The budget workshop, is that a posted regular school committee meeting or not, or is that just the subcommittee?
That's a posted regular meeting, and that's where administrators will be coming to present their budgets to any members that would like to be in attendance.
But is it a posted school committee meeting?
Yes, it will
So
be.
anyone from the school committee could go if they feel?
That's correct.
This isn't the one tomorrow.
No.
No.
No, this is on Thursday, the 18th.
Yes.
18th at 8 o'clock to be determined where?
Right,
Okay.
And where are we meeting tomorrow?
my office.
Okay. At 8?
So, 10 o'clock,
10?
10
Right.
o'clock.
I would have showed up at 8.
Yeah.
Have plenty of candy.
Okay. School committee reports? None?
The Policy Review Committee did meet. It was a productive session, but we have not completed the process of getting the revised reports to you, so you should expect them on the 17th.
Okay, very good. Looks like we're going to have a very busy meeting on the 17th.
Yes, you will.
Any other school committee reports at this time? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Great, thank you.